Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Welcome back. You are finally back and you're moved in. Is that right? You've got everything set up.
Mostly moved
all the
in.
furniture's installed. You're having parties at your house now. And so is that correct? We follow the progress of this house. Where are we, real quickly? Where are we in the house, the process?
We are in the house for the most part. We are not sleeping at
Yay!
the house because the mattress gets delivered 2 days from day of recording. So as of this weekend, Easter weekend will be our first full weekend, like actually living here. And it's
So you chose not to put an air mattress down to sleep in the house, just to stay in there.
We don't even
That's
have
a very
an air
all-starry
mattress.
thing to do.
That would be. We do actually have a sleeper sofa. I guess we could have done that, but nah, we'll just wait.
Just ahead of you in the moving process, of course, is Quasi-Producer Heather, who's back on the show with us today. Hello, Heather.
Hello, guys. How are you?
And you are moved in as well, correct?
I am moved in. We are in the house. There's boxes everywhere. We did do the all-star version of sleeping on the floor from the old house for 3 nights, and it was not good. But we are in the house. We are here.
That's awesome.
And you're just a few miles from Disney World. Like, you already sent video of you rolling through the gates. You're rolling through the banner and everything going there to basically watch Happily Ever After, but you had to come home early because...
Correct, because this is so crazy that I say this. We did not go to the park. We have not been to the park since we moved down here because I wanted to go back specifically just to see Happily Ever After. So that is how I Disneyed this week. And I said, I'm just going in to watch the show, and then we have to hurry up and get out because the girls have school in the morning. And it's a very surreal thing to say.
That's so cool.
I love that. So, I mean, for most people, it's like, okay, we leave from our vacation tomorrow because the kids have school the next day, or we're going to fly in early in the morning, get home by like 6 or 7 in the morning, and then maybe get the kids half day of school just to get them out of the house or whatever. But you're like, yeah, kids have school tomorrow, so we're going to go home, which is like a couple of miles from here. And so you're so close. That's so cool. I Happily Ever After. How was it?
Oh, all the emotions. It looked like a sea of humanity. It was almost reminiscent of the 50th anniversary again, because we were there the last night that it went down before Enchantment came up and cried all the tears. And they got to the point that they were saying, we got there like 3.5 hours before it went on. And I found my curb and I was like, I'm not moving. Me and the girls were not moving. And the cast members just kept coming by saying, listen, we're filling in the streets like early. Right. So pick where you want to stand or sit. And then we'll ask everybody to stand. And that's it. And it was packed.
I saw some video. I saw some pictures.
They hit and all the tears, like just crying. You just heard like 30,000 people singing like word for word. And it was, I took a video of it, of like just all the people. And I just wanted to be like, Disney, have you ever seen this happen for Enchantment?
I mean, literally, nobody did it for Enchantment.
No, I mean, everybody was bawling by the end and like just cheering that it's back. It was glorious. It was glorious.
Well, I saw Enchantment last week. I was there, last week, last night of our stay actually at Magic Kingdom. I saw Enchantment, and we had a pretty good show. We were right there by the Mickey mini statue there in the hub. So it was very good seating, very good, visual of the castle. And the show is not bad. It's not terrible.
No, it's not a bad show.
This is going to say weird. It's kind of weird. It just has no soul. Like, it has no it's
no
like
emotion.
Disney fireworks are better than any fireworks you're ever going to find.
Absolutely.
Anywhere, no matter what they are. So the show, it's almost like the worst Pixar movie. It's probably going to be better than 99% of any other animated films you're going to find out there. But it's still not your favorite Pixar movie. Same thing with this. It's like, it looks great. It looks cool. It's just, there's no resonance. And the crowd was cheering and applauding after it was over, but there were no sniffles.
There was no emotional
no, like, oohs and ahs and nothing like that. It was like, we're here to see Harmony or Enchantment because it's
like,
gonna go away.
I cried
one more time.
every time at Happily Ever After.
Every time.
Yeah.
it's a show, or it's music that my own wife will have playing sometimes randomly downstairs. I'll come downstairs from the office to go to the refrigerator, grab some water, and the song is just playing. Why are you playing that? I don't know. I was thinking about it. I just want to hear it. You don't hear "The Magic Is Calling" coming from downstairs speakers at my wife's desk. We'll get to that though. We'll get to that. Jen, how did you Disney this week?
Well, I've Disneyed a few ways. Setting up my office with my Disney paraphernalia in right here. This is my cabinet. I still can't find a couple of the boxes.
I like how you're pointing to the castle. This is my
castle
office.
Yeah. Well, if I didn't have my virtual background on.
Right.
It's also very echoey because I have no other furniture in here. So there you go. That's fine. I'm wearing my 50th shirt as well that I got on the 50th, my short sleeved, the 50th shirt. Yeah. So
I like that. I like it. So for me, of course, I went to Disney World 2 weeks ago, got back last Wednesday. So I've been back now just over a week, which is really crazy. I was telling somebody how these trips have all not really melded together, but it's like we're so looking forward to the 50th, and the 50th comes and it's over. And then we're looking forward to the next trip, and just these trips just kind of come one after the other, and they come so fast, and all of a sudden they're all over. And it's like, oh, I don't have any trips in the pipeline right now. Not until I have one in December. Will I get to go back? Probably get to go back before then. Who knows? But at the same time, I'm like, I don't have anything to look forward to. I don't get to see my people until at least June. It's just, it's crazy. But for me this week, I found it on Amazon. It was only $60. My Up Lego house. It's a mini set. It's only about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches tall, 6 inches tall. It's the Carl Doug Russell house with the balloons on top and everything. And Disney is now releasing these series of mini sets because people can't afford to buy a $400 train set. Like, I would love to have the 1,300 piece, like Walt Disney World Railroad train set would be amazing. I can't spend $500 on that. I can't justify that to my wife because she'd be like, no, you're taking that back right now, or we're selling everything in your office. We're going to sell it on eBay. But I can squeeze $60 out here and there for a little set. Like, I have the mini castle. I now have the mini haunted mansion. Now I have the mini upset, which will take me forever to build because I typically build them when Jen has like Zoom meeting, agency meetings. That's a good time for me to do Legos. So I'm really excited about so Jen, we need our next Zoom meeting, our next agency call. So I'll have a chance to build some Legos. So
I'm so glad I can provide that for you.
And of course, the 50th anniversary has come to an end. I remember one of my favorite episodes, I think, that we've ever done. I don't remember the episode number, but it was somewhere like in the 50s or 60s or 70s, whatever. In October 2021, when the three of us, and of course our friend Kyla came on and recapped the 50th anniversary. And we talked all about the 50th, the October 1st, the day of being there, setting it up. Of course, Heather was the mastermind behind the 50th, honestly, but really was the mastermind behind all of us going, like, talking to us a year and a half in advance. I barely knew who Heather was. And she was like, hey, we should all get together. We're all going down for the 50th. And I'm like, Jen, does she work for us? I don't have a clue who she is. What's happening right now? Is she the one with the kids? Okay, gotcha. All right, I understand.
The one with the kids, because nobody else has kids.
Nobody else.
But no, it's the 50th came, and we had 18 months of 50th anniversary celebration. So what I want to do is kind of do kind of a recap of the 50th, and kind of what worked, maybe what didn't. So that way now Bob Iger's in charge, and whoever comes after him can kind of know for the 75th or even for the 100th, they'll know what to do. Because we solve all the Disney World's problems. And really, I just think it'd be a good idea to kind of start at the top, and we'll talk about, do you remember day one, October 1st, 2021? Do you guys remember the day? Do you remember vividly? Is it kind of a fading memory? Is it kind of, for me, I remember just about it. I remember the day very vividly, honestly, just, things that happened during the day. And for me, the day was overall a success, despite the opening ceremony, which was nothing. And I think we've all talked about that, about how just horrible it was. It was one of my favorite days ever. It really was.
Yeah.
It literally is like top 3 moments of my life, like after getting both of my kids.
I remember it. I remember it very well.
Jen remembers sleeping in while we all just saved her
and joining us at the front of the crowd, like she had been there the whole time. So
100%.
For those who have not listened to the podcast that long, first of all, what are you doing with your life? Second of all, go find that episode. Third, Heather had, and of course, we're well a part of Pawn Star Travel, and we are like a family. And so I will talk about these people like they're just people that I see every day, which I kind of do on Messenger and stuff at this point. But Heather had basically put together this plan in 2019. Hey, the 50th anniversary is coming up. At the end of 2021, we need to all plan to be there. And slowly but surely, this plan started taking place to where we were going to become this inflatable chair mafia, where we were going to get up there at 3 a.m, camp out. I think we were out there by 3:30, camping out on the sidewalk, with our inflatable chairs, waiting for the gates to open, and we were at the Contemporary. We were all at the Contemporary on the sidewalk there, and actually, I was walking from the Contemporary to the Magic Kingdom with my family. As we passed by, I'm like, "That's where we camped out." Morning. And of course, it's like all the way back here. Well, no, because they stopped you up to a certain point, and it was this magical day of the night before. Let me say that the night before we were all at the Contemporary looking out the balcony, and they were doing the fireworks. They were doing these incredible fireworks and the incredible show. And from what I understand, it was an incredible thing just for like executives and the press and the bloggers and whatever, not the common folk like us. We get there, of course, at 9 a.m. They do the opening ceremony for the 50th.
Oh, it wasn't 9. It was like
or 7. No, it was actually like 7 or something like that.
Wasn't
so really
it?
early.
It was
7,
super early.
Super early. But nothing happened. I mean, like there was a guy on stage and they did a little song or dance or whatever. And it was like, hey, 50th anniversary. And if you had come at 10 o'clock, you didn't know it was the 50th anniversary.
You wouldn't have known.
You wouldn't have a clue. You wouldn't have a clue. And I think they fixed that with Epcot, obviously. We can talk about that later. But
yeah,
overall, the day was fantastic. The opening ceremony, not so much, but the day overall was fantastic. Let's talk about the statues. We had heard all through the summer of 2021, because I remember posting about this, like as they were releasing, hey, the next statue can be released as this, and here's another statue you're gonna see in the parks. And they had the silhouette of Mickey, and every little piece of Mickey was like another statue they were releasing, and we were all excited. Do we like the statues? Was good addition? Do we want them to go away now?
I think I'm okay with them staying.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
it would be nice if they worked better than they do.
Yes.
But I'm okay with them staying, because I noticed, like, even, camping out, waiting for Happily Ever After the other night, people are coming by on their vacations and they're just walking around, and you're just watching them get pictures with all the statues, because they're still doing the Fab 50 scavenger hunt. So I like it. It's just, it's like I think that they should keep them.
Yeah, I'm fine with them.
I think they will too. I think they will keep them for a while. A lot of them probably have the 50th emblem on them, but I think the 50th emblem, except for the Stitch statue, which is holding the 50th in his teeth, I feel like that's easily replaceable, because they pulled that off the castle. So I feel like that's something that can easily be taken off.
Sure.
And I'm assuming there was some forethought. Now, maybe I'm giving Disney way too much credit for this, but I'm assuming there was some thought ahead going, okay, when the 50th is over, we need to make these emblems removable. So maybe we can put up a 100th or do something else with it. But yeah, they don't work. I have walked by so many statues, and like my magic band will start vibrating and that statue starts talking to me. And then I walk back over to it and I'm like tapping my band, waving my band, whatever. Nothing happens. And I'm like, this is terrible. Also coming out in the summer of 2022, Magic Band Plus. We finally got the Magic Band Plus. I like the concept of Magic Band Plus. I like the idea of Magic Band Plus. The execution, I think, has been pretty underwhelming, honestly. Because you can do like 3 things with them, and you're paying 15 or 20 extra bucks for your
Wait,
Magic
you can
Band.
do 3 things with them?
Well, you got the Play Disney app thing. You can do
Play.
with Star Wars. They
I've
light
heard
up
about
during
that.
the fireworks, and then they're supposed to make
and
the
the
statues talk. Have you guys done anything with the Star Wars Play scavenger hunt thing with the bands at all?
No.
Well, I've used the Disney Play app to do the Star Wars stuff. Of course, when I did the Star Cruiser. But yeah, I mean, I don't even own a Magic Band Plus.
I mean, I do like whenever you get off Ratatouille and they're like glowing like red, white, and blue, like for France. I mean, that's always fun. And when you're on the People Mover, they like light up because you're going over Stitch. But then like most of the time you're going like this.
Oh, you know what I heard? Like, but if you double tap it, it works.
That doesn't work either. We had a friend of ours that told us that. She was like, hey, just double tap the Magic Band and it works better. And I tried that. I beat my arm silly trying to like in front of, and
Here's
like nothing works. And yeah.
They had all the cast members out the day that they came out. They were like at all the statues, showing you exactly where you needed to stand, which was great. That first day we were there. Okay, wonderful. And then they were saying move it slower. I just think they need to make the sensors bigger, and then we're good.
Probably what it is.
Yep.
Or do something more with the band. Like they're make other things happen in the parks with the band. You could even set up, and this is just off the top of my head, I don't know the logistics of doing this, but if you brought back something like the card game, and I forget the name of the game that you
the
used to play
Sorcerers
in
of the Magic Kingdom.
Instead of having the cards, do the Magic Bands, do something with that, or even give cards as a special prize if you do something, because I know people collect the cards. use Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom with your Magic Band, and then at the end of an adventure, you get a little card set for free or something like that. I mean, or you can buy a card set for a discount price. But whatever. I mean, I feel like you can do more with these Magic Bands than they've done. I don't think they've been a priority for Disney right now. I think there's a lot of other things they're trying to get fixed and finished.
Yeah,
and stuff,
I mean, I think the other thing too, it's like it's great that it works during the fireworks, but I don't want to watch my band during fireworks. Like I want to be watching the actual show. Like cool that it does stuff, but I mean, who's like then you're doing this? Like I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Well, and I'm kind
I
of
think
a nerd
it's
with
good
it
for
too, because
locals. Like if you're local, like you're like, oh look, it is going. But if you're there for just vacation, like you're watching the show.
Like I'd rather have like the fun design Magic Bands, honestly. And people still do like the Magic Bands, but for so many of the choices in my Disney experience are the plus versus just your standard everyday Magic Bands. And I feel like if we're going to keep them around, we need more of the standard options because people love their design. I mean, like, ooh, I like this because it's my, whatever. Like I know Katie and Meredith have the one from Emperor's New Groove. No touchy. It's got the,
Yeah. Just work on it. Just tweak it a little bit, Disney,
just
and then we'll be fans of it.
Exactly.
So on the Magic Band, I do feel like they could do some more things with it. And my other thing too, just me being a nerd, I want to know why they're working. Like if I walk by and it vibrates red and blue, whatever, I want to know what just happened. I'm like, why is my band going off? What's going on? So let's talk a little bit about what also came in technology wise that we know that Disney loves doing technology, and thankfully it always works. Genie Plus. Now we are a show not sponsored by Disney. We know that some Disney executives do listen to our show. We know this for a fact that we are listening. So I will tell you that my criticism of Disney Plus will be very constructive. It doesn't work that great, and it's way overly complicated for the average guest.
Explaining it to a guest is not. I have done 3 conversations this week, and I'm like,
and then when you send them the PDF, they're like, I'm just like, just read the PDF,
read the PDF,
and then call me.
Exactly, I do the same thing, and they're like, so wait, what's Genie Plus? I thought I was getting Lightning Lanes. Yeah, it's part of Genie Plus. Well, why can't I just call it Fast Pass?
Well, you can, but that's not.
I mean,
it's
again, potential? Question mark?
Does it have potential?
It has potential.
Does it? We are pushing the Genie name like in the mud of the greatest animated film of all time. Can we just go back to calling it Fast Pass, because that's still what everybody
I think that was number one. I think that was their first mistake, is not using the name Fast Pass. New Fast Pass, Fast Pass Plus, Fast Pass 2.0, whatever you want to call it. I think people would, COVID happened, so I think people would accept this program coming back a completely
as a
different
paid version, absolutely,
as a paid version of it, but call
absolutely.
it Fast Pass because that's what people are familiar with. And
people
so
are still calling it Fast Pass.
Well, and they still are, and like a lot of agents will. So, and I've even told
I
clients, just to kind of break it down for them, I'll say it's basically your Fast Pass, but it works differently, which is 2 completely different things. But for their level, it's like.
But you have to have something to equate it to. If you're teaching somebody, you have to have something to equate it to.
The problem is, and I do for my clients, I have a 2-page guide for Tron and for Guardians. This is how to get on a virtual queue. This is how to do Lightning Lane, whatever, virtual Lightning Lane, kind of breaking it down completely, like 1.5 pages in a PDF. I have a 7-page guide on Genie Plus. Strategy for the park. I should not have 7 pages on how to use this. I should not have 7 pages.
People shouldn't have to study before they go.
Right.
They should not have to study.
Like, I have to do homework. I'm like,
and people text me and they're like, oh, tell me about Genie Plus. I'm like, this is not a text conversation. You need to call me. Let's work up a phone call or a Zoom call where I can do screen sharing or something. And it's it's a program, again, like the statutes, but on a much bigger scale, that in its concept seems like it would work. In its execution, it's not been good. And I will tell you, Josh, if you're listening, I love you, but I don't believe a single word of any executive from Disney that says people love Magic Band Plus. We're getting the feedback. They love it.
You mean Genie Plus?
Sorry, Genie Plus. Magic Band too. But Genie Plus, anytime I hear executives say, well, people really like this. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They don't. Nobody likes this. It's just, can you make it work for you? Yes.
It's a necessary thing at this point. Yes. Depending, well, maybe not the way Heather and I tour, but if you're going for your big trip, yes, you're gonna want to utilize it. Do Brady and I use it? Sometimes. occasionally.
I do not.
Well, I feel almost as if you're like Disneyland, I feel works a little bit better. I think their rides there's several more rides in
Disneyland,
there.
I
A lot
think
of the
works
rides are
great.
smaller. You can't do it to get into the park. And so there is no advanced
Yep.
metrics or whatever.
You don't
and
have to
so,
wake up at 6 a.m. to purchase it to like, and it's not flexible pricing there. You know what you're getting in Disneyland.
Right.
I will say it works great at Disneyland.
Mhm.
I buy it every
But
time.
I'm about to tell you, it's been as of today. I actually don't know if it's sold out today. The last 3 days, it's sold out at $35 per person per day. It's sold out.
Ooh-wee.
People complain about Genie, how high it is, but guess what? People are buying it, and I have a feeling we're going to see $40 probably over Christmas. When it gets this busy again, Christmas time, we'll see a $40 Genie plus, Genie plus per person per day. It's
You
just,
might see it this Sunday on Easter.
that's true. That is very true, which is crazy.
It's bananas.
What about our merch? And I feel like you guys could speak to this more than I could, because I didn't buy a ton of 50th merch. I like the merch and everything, but speaking merch wise, as compared to other lines, other series, other celebrations they have, did the 50th merch, was it great? Was it lackluster? Was Disneyland? I mean, not Disneyland. Could it have been better? I don't know. The merch, overall.
I have a bunch of it. So I mean, and I only realized how much I actually had of it whenever I was like unpacking into this house. And like one of them is like the scroll from that day. That was like that limited edition scroll that
yes.
probably cost me like $200 or something like that. Who knows? I have a lot of it, and I like that it was like the golds and the purples and the blues and everything.
Iridescence.
I mean, yeah, and I like that they like did releases. I don't want to say like as a Disney fan, it was probably annoying because if you weren't there, you couldn't get it. But I like that they did like different releases throughout the 18 months so that if you were visiting, you weren't getting the same thing that someone that just visited in your office like 8 weeks ago got.
Right.
So I did like that they had a wide variety of it. No, I liked it. I thought it was nuts that the Starbucks mugs like caused a fight, but
that was crazy. That was
day one, of course, there was a fight over in the merch because you had to get into the queue for the merch store when the merch was first released on day one. There was a fight over some of the Starbucks stuff, and then you found it in the parks like 3 days later, just on the shelves.
Like,
it was in Epcot the next day.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
that was crazy. No, I was happy with the merch overall.
Yeah, you're right, Heather. Actually, I'm thinking about it. I actually do probably have a lot of merch. My your wife Steph has a Dooney 50th that she saw, and she's like, "This is so cute." I think Jen, you may have been with me when we bought this. Actually, was that the 50th Dooney we purchased for her? And you had to kind of walk through the placement of the fabric, which I'd never even thought about. And you were like, "No, you have to buy one that's." Didn't think about it.
I had Steph's back in this one. I was like, I grabbed the purses from David's arms. I was like, just give me these.
There were several of us at the co-op in Disney Springs, and Stephanie was like, get me the 50th. She's got the discount. Somebody there has a discount, so we can use that. And so like, get the 50th. So I just grabbed it and I'm talking to Jen. Jen's like, no, tell Stephanie, da da da. So she just called Stephanie directly, and they're talking and like walking through the placement, which one looks the best, and she's sending the pictures and whatever. And I'm like, y'all, okay, that's cool. I'm
in the co-op. I'm like, call Stephanie Dollar.
Pretty much. So we got the merch. Let's talk about some of the things that opened up. Of course, one of my favorite things that I'm hoping, and I think it will stay because people love it, the points of light, the beacons of light on Spaceship Earth.
Love it.
This is one of those things I'm like, why did they not do this beforehand?
I know.
Fantastic.
It's fantastic. It's interchangeable depending what the season. They have like limited edition songs that come out. I love all of it.
I love
Shout out
it.
Zach
It's perfection.
So much potential.
It's perfection.
Now what it is. For those who don't know what we mean, basically they installed little lights on all over Epcot. Everywhere the triangle makes a point on the Epcot Spaceship Earth, there's little lights, and it's this beautiful sequence of lighting.
Yes.
They can do different shows and things on it. They can do different words, messages, depending on what's going on, just different colors. It's gorgeous. It goes along with the fireworks and stuff, and it's fantastic. And they do different shows during the night, and it's one of those things. I'm like, I wish this had been going on for 15 years now, because I could watch this all day, watch the lighting on it. It's just beautiful how it works. Also opening up during the 50th anniversary, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Dare I say, possibly one of the biggest and most exciting debuts Disney has ever had with anything.
That was amazing.
This is a surefire hit on our hands. This thing has hit out of the gate, was the most popular ride in the parks. People love this ride, and it's fantastic. Heather, what do you love about Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind?
every single thing about it. It is the greatest ride ever, 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 ever. Prior to it coming out, the greatest Disney ride ever was Shanghai Pirates. This, all the time.
But I need to know, but does it hurt you that it's not in Magic Kingdom because that's your favorite park?
Well, that is a little bit. I was thinking about that the other night when we were sitting here because all these people were like coming off of Tron, and I was like, oh, like it's. Don't get me wrong, it's a good ride. They needed a thrill ride in Magic Kingdom. I was sitting there going, like, why didn't they put Guardians in my park? Like, why? Like, it would have made it like
because they put it
park.
in my park.
I would never have to leave the park. I could just like go to Haunted Mansion, ride the carousel, go to Guardians, and just keep going back.
Would Tron have fit at Epcot though? I mean, because I don't think they.
Do you mean in Magic?
No. I mean,
it is
Guardians.
Would Tron have fit in?
Would Tron have fit in Epcot?
Yes.
Would that have?
I mean, regardless of them naming the neighborhoods, I mean, Future World, whenever it was Future World, it would have.
It's Future World in my heart still.
Yeah, I don't even know what the neighborhoods are, and I'm somebody who's big on it's Hollywood, not MGM. It's
Journey
Disney
of
Springs,
Water.
Yes. But yeah,
World Nature, or wait, is that World Discovery?
Doesn't matter. We'll learn it.
I don't know. But I will say,
are they going by those now officially? Is that what they're officially going by? Or
the flags are up, aren't they?
I don't know.
I guess. But you can't walk through that area, so
right.
But they're like it's labeled that.
Yeah,
I think. I don't know. I'll pick up a park map and let you know. But I will say, and we've discussed this before, Epcot did need an attraction. It needed something to make people go to it. I know that it's an adult park. People love it. If
it is not an adult park. It's an everybody park, and it's amazing.
Okay, but listen, if you had kids, specifically a 4 and a 7-year-old, they were like, "Mommy, when are we going to do the rides?" Now the kids are like, "Mommy, are we doing Guardians first?" And I'm like, see, this is what they needed, like that thrill thing. They needed that attraction.
They did.
But it should be in my park. It's okay.
I for one, am actually, and this is going to be very, very unpopular, I'm a fan of the virtual queue. I like that it keeps the line from building all the way through the parks. It makes me, when I see the lines all the way through the parks, I think of Universal. When I think of the first day with Hagrid's and even Velocicoaster, I like the idea of having the virtual queue. Of course, they have the Tron as well. This goes back to the whole Genie Plus Magic Band, app thing, whatever. It's not hard to get into a virtual queue if you know what you're doing.
Correct.
We had no problem with it anytime last week. If you don't know what you're doing, then you may have an issue, which is why you need a travel agent. Hey, promotion. Jen, what do you love about Guardians? I know you love the ride too.
Gosh, I love the ride. I love the theming. I love the technology that's in the ride, and just like I feel like it is the most thrilling ride that I've been on. And I mean, just because there's like so much, it doesn't lose it. Like
every time you go through, you see something else.
Yeah.
And I love the music. I love the music.
6 songs that they play at random. I'm still waiting for September, and I'm still waiting for One Way or Another. Those are the 2 that I've gotten that I'm missing. I've gotten Conga 4 times, honestly, and I got Disco Inferno again last week after having it the time before. So I'm still waiting for those 2 songs. I know a lot of people who've had all 6 songs. I know some people who are waiting just for September. Like that's the big one that everybody wants.
I have now had all 7 because I had the holiday remix as well.
Oh, I had the holiday remix too, so I did have that. So, so there is that. I do love the attraction. I love, like you said, there's something that I see new every time I do it, and it's like this time around we rode it twice, and I was able to kind of really focus in on the story and the video and listening to the audio, and I really kind of caught onto it. Like I understood the story from front to back versus I'm catching snippets here and there, even though I've done it so many times. It's a great story. It's a fun story, and it really is. It really is great. Which of course leads us to the other big thrill ride that we mentioned is Tron. Was supposed to open up during the 50th anniversary. Of course, did not because of COVID. Although it kind of technically did. It was been unofficially open for 6 weeks, but it's not been not been really the Tron, not part of the 50th or whatever. Great coaster. We probably can talk about that more in the future. I want Jen to get on it, and we can kind of talk a little bit about it more.
Sure.
And Heather to be on it as well. But it's a lot of fun. Virtual queue, the individual lightning lane. We rode it several times. The pictures are fantastic with your hair going straight back. I love the way that you have pictures of just you and whoever's next to you versus like 4 people in your car or Tower of Terror. We got 15 people who don't know who they are. I love that. The locker system I think is very cool, and I think will be something they'll look for the future. Hot tip: there's a compartment in the front of your cycle that you put your phone in or your keys or whatever, small things. You can prop your phone. There's 2 little open slots there. You can prop your phone in the first one, and it won't fall out because you don't go inverted. And you can get a great video of the actual ride itself if you're in the first cycle, which helps. If you're in the back, not so much. But yeah, I did that, and I got a great video of the ride itself because just brought my phone in there, held it with my thumb, and it's fantastic. So Tron is awesome. Also opening up Remy's Ratatouille Adventure and that whole France Pavilion, a brand new thing for the 50th anniversary.
Yep.
It made me love the France Pavilion. I liked the France Pavilion. It made me love the France Pavilion because the creperie opened up as well right around there. That fountain, which is now like a centerpiece of just
it's
of
so beautiful
photography. People want pictures of the fountain. There's a photo pass photographer there. Thoughts on the France Pavilion? Thoughts on Remy? Do we love this?
It's a cute ride. We always do it every time we go now. It's like a must do. I mean, if we're just like popping in, like if it's like half day and then like say we're going to Animal Kingdom, we'll do like Ratatouille, Spaceship Earth, and whatever boarding group we got for Guardians that day. It's super cute, and it always makes you want baguettes at the end.
Exactly. I've always loved the France Pavilion. That's one of my favorites. And I love the creperie. I love that you can sit inside now. It's really good. So
super cute merch that they had whenever that came out too.
Yes. So cute. Big time.
I love the creperie isn't necessarily a food that I would always go to with the crepes and stuff, but it feels like you can always get a reservation there. It's almost like people don't even know it exists. You have to walk around that corner and they're just on the right. And they have a little counter as well, but they have an inside restaurant. And I remember going during the 50th weekend, we were all like, went up to the window to get our crepes and our ice cream and whatever. And there were people outside, cast members outside at the restaurant, like asking us to come in, like, hey, you guys can come in if you want, trying to get people to come in and sit because nobody even knew it existed. And so, yeah, that's a great little spot for a snack. And they have actual like breakfast there and things like that. So I've been there a couple times, which is awesome. Another show that came and unfortunately went. Kite Tales also opened up for the 50th. Did not return after a while.
That was very short-lived show. Was it like 6 months?
I loved it because it just made you just sit there and laugh. I mean, you could just laugh.
Kite Fails for a reason.
Kite Fails.
It was this show on the water, which
in Animal Kingdom, we should specify
Animal Kingdom, or Animal Kingdom underwater. They had this show where you had guys on jet skis holding up these massive kites of different Disney characters. I think Lion King was kind of a theme for one. Jungle Book was there or whatever. And the only way to, which I don't know the logistics of this, so I don't know if this is possible, but I don't know why they didn't just fly the jets or drive the jet skis out of sightline and take the kites down then, because they were just crashing the kites in the bleachers on the side and you were seeing it happen. And it's like, that's a bad show. So I don't understand what we're doing here. This is so odd.
So hilarious.
And so it became Kite Fails, and Disney even tweeted about that and leaned into it about Kite Fails. You never know what you're going to see, because I think they realized, oh, well, that's so good. So,
and then when they would crash, they started adding sound effects into the show. Like when Baloo would hit, it would be like funny. Boing, boing.
Right. And I have to think the people that created Kite Tales created this beautiful story being told with these kites, which the kites looked cool when they were in the air.
Well, yeah.
Now it's a comedy show. How did this even happen? What just happened to my beautiful story? Which is also what I kind of feel about. I kind of feel bad for the people who created Enchantment. Because they just worked so hard on this show and music and whatever, and within a week, people are like, "This sucks." And the Enchantment creators, we thought we had you a good show. We're sorry.
I mean, it's not that it wasn't a good show. Again, it's not a bad show. It's just not.
And I don't. One of the criticisms is obviously the people, especially Disney fans, we don't like change. When when Wishes went happily ever after, people went crazy about Wishes. Well, I would say within a few months, people were getting used to Happily Ever After, and they were really kind of absorbing the show and becoming fans of the show. So it didn't take very long. I mean, the fact that 18 months later, people are still like, we don't care about Enchantment. I mean, 6 months into, you could tell this show was not going to work.
Yeah.
Harmonious. It was a show that we saw this one as well. Harmonious. A better show than Enchantment.
It was a better show.
It was a better show. Agreed.
I think the problem with Harmonious was Stargate and the tacos right there in the middle of it.
100%.
That was it.
It didn't move out of the way.
Exactly. If you could have been like Illuminations, yes.
Harmonious would still be there.
Yes.
Yep. Because the show itself was and the fact that you can't see the show
from all the way around
the lagoon. Correct.
Right. There were several spots that because Stephanie saw Harmonious for the first time. She had seen bits and pieces of it, but she saw it for the first time last week when we went, and she was like, well, where do we stand? I'm like, well, here's where not to stand. That country, that country, and that country, and those 3 countries. You can't see anything.
It's like you can hear the music and you can see some water. And that's it.
So I did a whole video, like a picture montage on my Instagram, taking pictures from each country pavilion to like what Stargate looks like, and there were several of them just terrible, which I can delete that post now. But Harmonious, I think you're right. If it had been like Illuminations and they had moved things in even halfway through the day, whatever, I think it would have worked a lot better. But the sightline was ruined. It was ugly, and it wasn't just like the big circle that I think people maybe could have lived with. But you had these other, like the taco barges, what they were called, out there off to the side, and it didn't work.
Well, and like initially they had showed like that the Stargate was going to be like a water fountain. I was a water feature. I'm like, okay, well that'll make it better. Like I don't necessarily hate this, and then for whatever reason there's no water feature, and I'm like, oh, so it just is going to sit here. Okay.
Yeah. And you couldn't even, because my thought was like, okay, well, if we're going to do this, I want to get a picture of Spaceship Earth right through the center of Stargate. That's going to be a cool
and you
picture.
Can't.
You couldn't. The American Pavilion was there. Yeah. And as I walked around with my camera that first day, I'm like, this is, I can't. Okay. All right. I see how this is going to go. Yeah. Epcot Forever, of course, has returned. Nobody was really clamoring for Epcot Forever, but I feel like,
but it's honestly, nostalgic. It's got veggie, fruit.
I haven't seen it. I have not seen Epcot Forever. I do think, however, both Enchantment and Harmonious, I know that Disney's like, well, it was only for the 50th. If they had been massive hits, they would have kept them. There's no way they would be taking this, especially Harmonious, because that's got to cost a lot of money taking all that stuff down. Yes. Cranes are taking it down, as we speak, apparently. And so that's kind of my overall 50th review. Anything we missed, anything we didn't talk about, anything I didn't get to, overall. I'm sure there's a lot I didn't get to, but just... Oh, one more thing. I forgot. The castle. The castle. The iridescent color of the castle. Honestly, I love it. I kind of want to keep it. I love the blue. I love the blue that we had, but I kind of love the castle as it is. Do we want to keep it?
Oh, Heather.
Do we want to change it back? Heather.
I was having this conversation with people on Main Street waiting for Happily Ever After. We were all sitting there and I was like, this is great for 18 months. I'm done with the pink. I want my gray and my like teal blue back. I want it back. I want it back to the way it was. And other people were like, yeah. Supposedly, which I don't know, I can't confirm who told me this, but there have been permits that are filed. So they're going to do something, whether those permits are to remove all of those, like they
wrap the turrets,
those little ribbon things that are like behind me. I don't know, but I'm hoping that they turn it back. And if you want to put a Celebrate Disney 100 in the center of my clock on the castle, that's fine. But I'm ready for it to go back. But a lot of people love it. If
do you think they're going to lean into the silver of the 100th?
I mean, they could. And then just let it fade to the gray. Oh, that's a good idea.
Because it would fade to gray.
Some silver accents, like they're doing with a lot of things for the.
Do like not like an iridescent, but like something that's going to make it shimmer, and then let it just fade off.
Ooh, that'd be pretty. That would be pretty. I like that.
Hey, Disney, take note of that. Turn it back, but then you could put like silver shimmers on it.
So to not like turn it back to the color, but like add like zhuzh it a little bit with the like something shimmery, but not iridescent. We've already done that.
Yeah,
that would be good.
Pink is for Sleeping Beauty Castle and
Paris.
That's
what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say.
Yes,
is the only thing for me is that it doesn't differentiate enough between the two castles. Like I like having an individual castle that you look at and go, that's Walt Disney World. That is Disneyland. I can tell. I can tell because I've been so many times. Obviously, I can look at both castles and be like, I know which one's which. But your average guest may not. And I like the idea of them being able to say blue is Disney World, pink is Disneyland, but I do like what they have now. So I'm okay with some changes, whatever they want to do. But I do like it. So again, anything we missed for the 50th overall?
No, other than I said Happily Ever After will come back.
You did?
And it did, David.
It did after
and I think
the 50th.
You may have said it on day one, actually. I think you
I said it on day one. I was like, it's coming back. I was like, here's how I know it's coming back. There's no merch. If it was going away forever, there would have been merch. And I was like, it's coming back. And lo and behold, Jordan and Angie, who sing the song, they were there on opening night the other night. And they were even all over social media, like, bring it back. I mean, the fans brought it back. And Disney, you saw the crowds. They want to be in touch with the emotions. So whenever you're putting together this new Epcot show, hit the heartstrings.
Got to hit the heartstrings.
That's all I got to do.
Jordan Fisher and Angie, I don't remember her last name, but they're the ones that sing Happily Ever After. Ready to be. That's Jordan. I kind of feel bad, Jen, because I feel as if right after the 50th anniversary started, we probably could have got one or both of them on our show because nobody knew what was going to happen with Happily Ever After. So nobody was talking about Jordan Fisher and Angie. Now, not so much. I feel like their star is rising quickly and it's all back. And I feel like we missed that window. So, but I think we can get whoever created Enchantment and wrote The Magic is Calling, probably get them on the show because they're not doing anything right now. So,
character cavalcades. That's the thing that happened during the 50th.
Oh, yeah.
That was COVID. That was
that was COVID. That was COVID. I mean, they
Yeah.
did add a special 50th character cavalcade, though.
Yeah.
So,
okay, yeah.
Well, the 50th cavalcade and the costumes and things like
The
that.
costumes,
kind of
yeah.
with the decor.
Never
I
mind.
loved the decor,
Mhm.
but I am ready for the decor to kind of be gone now, kind of move on.
Yeah, like now we're ready.
We have
We're
the new
ready.
silver
Let's
costumes.
go to
Yep.
100.
Ready to move forward.
Mhm.
Yep, and ready to go to Disney World 75th, which Heather's already talking about that now. It's 25 years from now, so I will be almost 75.
We'll be old.
You know, Heather will be in her,
Still be walking
late
around.
whatever. And Jen will be just turning 50, 55, something like that. So
I'll take that.
so yeah, exactly. That's so this is good. I think overall the 50th was fantastic. It was a great moment in time for Disney World. I went to Disney World a lot during this time. So I really enjoyed living in these moments, making these memories with my family, with my friends, with my team. And I'm looking forward to 100th, whatever they're going to do. I know most of it's going to be at Disneyland because they get all the good stuff, but I am looking forward to seeing what they're doing, what they're going to do at Disney World. Epcot, I think, is going to get a lot of the 100th themed stuff. And apparently at the stockholders meeting, Bob Iger said that whenever Moana Journey of Water opens, that is the completion of the Epcot overhaul. So we'll see what happens between now and then, and maybe they'll have some more walls down, which would be nice.
That'd be lovely.
They've opened up a new wall, like a new section of the wall, so you actually can walk from one place to the other. Like I want to say it's from the front to the land a little easier now.
Oh, good.
There's a whole section of wall that's down, but still, it's crazy. So, Jen, where can we find you on the line, on the webs?
You can find me at Upon a Star Jen and my personal Instagram at Jen_Novotny.
And we're so happy that we're in your house. This is awesome. And your house is built and your house is great. You're going to get moved in next week. You'll be able to say, "Hey, I'm recording from my house," which would be awesome.
Well, actually, I am recording from my house technically, just no furniture.
Okay, well, like furniture in
Very
there,
little furniture.
and maybe you can show off the cool office room with all your paraphernalia and all your memorabilia and all that good stuff. Heather, where can we find you, the Moana Mom?
You can find me at the Moana Mom on Instagram and Facebook.
I will never tell you to not follow Jen, but I will say that Jen doesn't post a ton because she's just too busy. Heather has a great account, by the way. The Moana Mom is fantastic on Instagram.
You.
I mean, still follow me because I'm fun when I do post.
Oh, you definitely follow Jen because we all need followers. All need followers. But yes, I aspire to be Heather in my next life or in this life if I can. Follow me, of course, at The Magic on $1 on Instagram and on Facebook, Magic on $1 and Disney on $1. And of course, follow the show at all the type places, the MSC podcast on all Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff. And finally, since you're taking notes for things to follow, Upon a Star Travel. TikTok is great. Instagram is great. Our girl Meredith does a great job with a lot of that stuff. So props to her for that, Upon Star Travel and all that good stuff. So Heather, thank you for joining us. This has been fun. I did not want to do this recap without you on this show because you're the 50th person in the 50th celebration person when I think of the 50th. So yeah.
It changed my life. I would not be living in Disney if that day didn't change my life. I made a decision that day sitting on Main Street. I said, I'm moving here. And I did it 18 months later, right as it ended.
And you did. And Steph and I are sitting in traffic about a week and a half ago, or day 1 or day 2 of our trip. And we're sitting in Orlando traffic. And she looked at me and she's like, "I know you love Florida." And I said, "I do." And she goes, "We will never move here." And I'm like, "No." She goes, "No." She said, "If you want to move out of Birmingham, we can talk. We can figure something out. We'll discuss and figure out what you want to do." She's like, "But not Orlando. No, we're not going to do it. I love Disney, but I don't want to be right up under it."
I'll teach her the back streets.
Yeah,
we're good.
You'll have to. So Jen can teach you how to be bougie. You can teach you how to fly through Orlando. All good stuff. And of course, that is the Main Street Electrical Podcast this week. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And don't forget to celebrate one more time with your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.